Welcome to TM Radio Broadcasting. My name is Frank Allen. We are live from Boston, Massachusetts. Today's date, Friday, November the 8th, 2024. To listen in, dial +1 518 801 1318. When we are off air, you can listen on this line to past episodes 24 hours a day. Call into the studio. Join in for a while. We have room at this number, +1 617 987 8603. Tonight, I have the great pleasure of sharing an hour with Louis Rowe, founder of TI Day, which we celebrate August 29th every year. He is starting, or has started, a new group, Advocacy for Neuro Rights. We needed another group like this. And with him is Maria, the current president, and Sandrina at the moment. We are expecting more. I have some questions for you. Actually, we have a caller. Hold on. Go ahead, caller. Oh, we lost him. Okay, I don't believe that we have spoken since 2018. How have you been, Louis?
I've been okay. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for having us on. Thank you for that great introduction, man. I've been doing okay. It's been up and down. I've done a lot of activities and a lot of activism since 2018, and the World TI Day event that was put together. I used to get on your call all the time and talk about the event and try to get people to initiate your radio call, your radio broadcast, and have participators and people that want to get on and do all these types of things, which is important to do advocacy. It's important for people to get together and protest in certain ways, and it's important to talk about what's going on because what's happening has been going on for quite some time.
When did you decide to form this group?
So for Advocacy for Neuro Rights, I decided to form it to try to, because I was trying to come up with a different kind of organization that would follow along with what's going on today. And I figured, I was going to try and start the Advanced Syndrome group. Then, I just kind of drafted over into other stuff. And then for human rights, Neuro Rights is an extension of human rights. So I figured, why not try to utilize that because it's public, you can use it. It's not just, segregated to one area, but anybody can use it. So it's a term that, for me, would be good to put out because what Neuro Rights entails to is neurotechnologies. Neurotechnologies is broken down into brain-to-computer interfaces, small implantations, or fiber optic implantations, sensor technologies. So all those are neurotechnologies, basically. And, with that, if you're trying to reach to the public about at least getting them to know about Neuro Rights, what Neuro Rights entails, it would help a lot of different aspects and possibly have policy changes, laws, petitioning, such as the petition that we do have right now. And all these things that are tied together for human rights,
Okay. You have 5 members to date. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you explain for the listening audience how one would join your group?
Well, if you would like to join, we would ask for just a small little resume if you have experience in advocacy or different kind of functions or work. just, if you'd like to join, you can email us at our website. It's advocacyforneurorights.org, and then you go down on the front page toward the section where it says a comment, and then you should be able to put a comment inside the contact link, and then just ask to join. That's usually where we have people sign up for our emailing list. So we send out newsletters at least once a month to every 2 weeks or every week. Just depends on the information, but we do have a contact list that we send out newsletters to for people to get, and it's very informative what we do. So, but yeah, if you want to join, if you'd like to join and considering doing advocacy or want to be a volunteer, just email us at advo, it's ADVO, number 4, advo4 neurorights at gmail.com. So it's advo4 number 4 neurorights at gmail.com. And we'll be right there to answer your email. So, and if you have any questions about us in general, just email us.
Okay. Currently, do you have a website? You do?
We do. It's advocacyforneurorights.org.
Okay. All right. I just wanted that to come out again. Now,
you can send a message through the website as well.
That's very good to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this in our Sunday newsletter and see if we can get you some attention that you deserve. Now, what plans do you have relative to our community? What's your end goal, your end game?
Well, the goal is to, the end game would be to, so it starts with this. So in my timeline of advocating, I've been on the trail for implants for quite some time. I've studied business, I've studied law, and what law always tells you is to always follow the tangible evidence. Tangible evidence gives you everything that you need. So with that, if we can gather tangible evidence, then it tells us exactly where we need to go and where we need to go, such as the distribution of the implants, which there's a lot of factories, a lot of manufacturers that put them out, and not only that, but
hello.
I think this is David, our case manager. Remember?
Oh,
yes,
very
it
good.
is.
Basically, that's the goal. No, but not only that, but also the neural frequencies that are tied to cell phones, computers, and other types of applications that revert to neurotechnologies inside the devices, is being able to correlate with that and putting out a good message about that, and then hopefully getting to the point of having some changes made with that, because that does reflect to mind reading capabilities when it comes to just your cell phone or your laptop computer device.
Okay.
So,
I would like, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to introduce, once again, now that we're all here, we have a caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Hello, caller. How can we help you? Hello? We can hear you. Okay. I guess you have dropped off. I'm not getting any audio from you. Ma'am, could you speak up?
Frank?
Yes, speak up.
Hi, is anybody on the call?
Yes, you're on radio live.
Oh, okay. Is Lewis coming on here?
Lewis is already here.
Okay. Hello.
hey, is this Lauren?
Yep.
Hi, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, how you doing?
I'm doing. How you doing, Frank?
We're all fine, except for the targeting,
Very
which
good.
would like to make disappear, but it seems to hang on us for some reason. But I think
Yeah,
that
isn't
will.
it so?
Yeah. Well, you came on right when I was introducing everyone, And I'll start right at the top with Lewis. Lewis Rowe is actually an icon in the community simply because he is the founder of TI Day, August the 29th,
Yes,
which
he is. I'm well aware.
we celebrate
Yeah.
every year. Next, we have Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Lauren. How are
Mhm.
you?
She is the
I love these two guys on here, Frank.
oh, it's great. We've got a
Yeah.
crew here, and Maria is the president of Advocacy for Neuro Rights, and now we have David. This is my first time speaking with David. David, what do you do for the organization?
Hi there. Yes, my name is David Edwards, and I'm a case manager. I speak with victims, and I obtain their valuable information as well as their documentation and evidence of what's happening to them.
Very good, David. Do you have any other comments you'd like to make relative to what we have covered already?
Just that this is a very serious thing, and we are advocating for neuro rights. There's a lot of people affected by this, and we hope to be able to help everybody.
Very good. We have another caller. Hold on. Hello, caller. Maybe she'll call back. Okay, next would like to introduce Sandy Williams. Go ahead, Sandy. You have to... Actually, you appear to be self-muted.
I don't think Sandy is here.
She is. I'm looking at Sandy Williams, I Shall Bloom. I'm going to send a message to her to try and get her to unmute. Okay, maybe she is not hearing us. That is possible. That happens from time to time. Okay, Sandrina.
Yes, Sandrina here.
You are part of the organization as well. What
Yes,
do
I
you
am.
do? What do you do?
I am the Human Resources Officer, and my responsibility is to make sure that what we do meets all of the employment laws and that we are regulated and abiding by the laws.
I see. Very good. Okay, and Sandy appears to be here. Her signal is strong. Okay, I can't unmute Sandy Williams, so you may be quite right. Let me see. We'll hang up and see if you can get back on. Okay, what would you like to cover this evening? I have some more questions for you if you'd like to answer them together. Maybe, Maria, you'd like to take the next question.
Okay. Sandrina says that she can't unmute herself.
She can't unmute herself. Okay, let me try. She's apparently muted on her end. I'll send a request. Well, I wanted to say, we'll work out Sandrina's problem here in a second, how great it is to have you all here tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful. We thank you. We thank you, Frank.
We have another organization that has been founded to stop neural rights abuse. The end should be the skull. No one has rights inside of your head. And that's to put it straight to words. But no one has those rights. They're taking your dreams. They're taking your inventions. They're taking your lives. They're taking our lives. And it's people like you that will put a stop to this. And it's a terrible, terrible thing that we've unfortunately gotten into. Okay, Maria, has your targeting...
Yes,
Frank's fine. Has your targeting changed over the years, if at all? I was just curious.
So at the beginning, it was just mainly street theater, harassment, stalking, peeping in the windows. The last 4 years, it's increased intensively with the weaponized aspect. Once I started ignoring campaigns and the verbal harassments, they got very physical. And then I ended up with more implants. They start.
Okay, we're losing you just a little bit. Find the strongest point in your room and stay there where you were coming in. Okay, while she hooks back in, let's go to David. Now, the community overall size has increased since 2018. Can you give us a feeling of what kind of message that you have for TIs today?
Yes, I can. And the biggest message that I can possibly think of is that it's not your fault. No matter what becomes of you as a targeted individual, what happens to you, no one deserves to have their civil rights and dignity stolen from them. Stay positive, keep your head up, do anything you can to raise your frequencies and make it through the day and survive. It's meant to keep you at a low vibration, and it's just not your fault. That's the biggest message that I can give.
That's very good. It's frequently thought that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. But research that I have run into, or actually been sent to me, has told me that, see if you agree with me or not, you're all welcome to pitch right in. Just unmute yourselves and just get ready to speak. Because I'm just curious. Now, what I've heard is that the Havana syndrome is either coming from China or Russia. The targeting taking place in the U.S. seems to be coming from the government. How do you weigh in on that? And you can speak freely. Just unmute and speak.
Well, this is David once again. I would like to chime in on the origins of the Havana syndrome. You go to another country like Russia, they're going to, obviously say America's involved. The origin of where it's actually coming from could be from anywhere. A lot of these countries do have the capabilities to produce the effects of the Havana syndrome. We, as a country in America here, have specific directives issued by the DOD Directive 3000.09 being one of them, which does allow for a weaponized autonomous system to be used. I can say just off those facts that yes, America has capabilities to produce these effects, but yeah, so do other countries, especially China.
Okay, thank you, David. The reason I am actually limiting this to countries is because I have learned that it costs billions of dollars to put forth this kind of torture and to lose your privacy, in my case for 13 years and coming up on another month, 13 in a month. So if you say decade, it gets people's attention. So I'm going to say decade plus 3 years. And that's a long time not to have your privacy. It's a long time not to be followed everywhere you go, to have everything you say listened to and related to something else, like a song or a movie or a place or a time. It's very difficult. No one gets used to it, but they start to learn how to cope. And that's what veteran targets do. We learn how to cope with this. And as I have said many times, the most important thing is a positive attitude. Comments? Maria? Lewis? Lewis is actually...
Yeah, actually, having a positive attitude is something that's so important because, not only just experiencing technological abuse yourself, but also trying to advocate for people that have been under technological abuse, and trying to lay a foundation for people to go to try to get help, which is coming. There is help out there. It's very, very small, but it's coming. Such as basically removal of devices, and it's just the evidence is clear that however devices get inside of your body, whether if it's nano or other ways or other types of technologies, that is one of the most serious aspects. And I do have a history in anti-human trafficking. I used to work a little bit in the field. I was part of International Tribunal for Natural Justice for a while, and I did some activities for them, being on their board. And I learned a lot. I got a couple of different certifications out of anti-human trafficking and human trafficking awareness. So, in learning about that in that area led me to this area where it gives you more of a comprehension of what's going on and how is it happening, especially if you do research into the MK Ultra days, how that was performed and who performed that. And that was, the medical doctors and private institutions, the government, the federal government, for crying out loud, did that. And it's all documented. It's all out in the open. But to say that we live in America where freedoms and rights and dreams are possible, and the pursuit of happiness, which is where we should be all the time, every day, because we do live in America, and our laws are more presented for the population rather than just the government itself. But, in other countries, their laws are way different. We have more rights and more freedoms here in America than anywhere on the planet, maybe besides Antarctica. But, but with that, it's just, with the technological abuse and things that are occurring, things that do happen. In the case studies that I do have, it does, talk about a lot of different types of ways that these things are occurring. And, and a lot of individuals have devices inside their body. I study and I do follow other people, their work, to see what's going on and see what I can catch on to, what can I enable based off of that. It's important for me to do that because, staying up the par or trying to stay up the par with other people, especially in the community when you're networking with other individuals around the world, and then relaying those messages through the networking to get them up to par where you're at, because you want people on the same page. We should all be on the same page. Like in Marie's situation, when it comes to, for example, when Mr. Ed Green was talking on the Silent Weapons Committee, for the Silent Weapons hearing, he was talking about how the victims of the EMF were still attacked. Like, they're still being attacked today. They have their homes broken into. They get harassed in certain ways. So it is a thing that does occur, and it will happen. Once you get a GPS tracking device inside your body, it's pretty much over. It's just that complicated. And I don't want to scare people, but that it does happen to people, mainly women, because they think women are more vulnerable. Right? I think women are more powerful as opposed to that, But, to have a system that's completely ran consistently all the time, and just from the abuse and the power that it comes from, that they then and the neglect that happens from within the realms of being tortured by neurotechnological abuse and the manipulations that occur. It's like it's basically being a victim of neurotechnology abuse is like you're consistently put into a world of where am I? What am I? What's going on? What am I doing that's wrong? What am I doing that's wrong? And that's the kind of mindset that they try to keep you in with with the neurotechnologies. Whereas the victimization is all over the planet, and the things that they do is 10 times worse than what anybody could have ever done in their whole lifetime. So, with those kind of manipulations, and they try to use those algorithms on people where they try to get an individual to make them feel bad or guilty, or these are all neural manipulations. These are the algorithms and the artificial intelligence that's being placed upon you because that's what they want. It's basically control, control. Because if they can't control you, then you're going to be in a better state of your human life, a better state of consciousness, and breaking away from that control alleviates the pressure of them actually trying to control your senses or your neural activity, because that's what they want. They stimulate certain nerves, they stimulate your brain, they stimulate your thinking processes while collecting all that data, and then formalizing it or initializing or analyzing it, and then collecting some other forms attached to data from other people in a different area of the world, or you could be your neighbor. You don't know, but from the European Commission, and the impacts of neurotechnologies, they recognize the impacts of neurotechnologies and how they occur today. They recognize that, and that's why it's so important to keep up with the Neuro Rights, because what's happening with that is once it becomes more known what's occurring with Neuro Rights, and that's one of the reasons why I push it so hard, and I try to do things inside the government, and especially around other areas outside the government that would help. So it's basically it's sort of like a long-term endeavor trying to get the Neuro Rights, to where it should be. And while the laws are coming out, we can apply different methods and amend certain things and try to get those interjections in there before it just dissolves and it all goes away, such as the medical implants. That's something that needs to be identified. That's something that needs to be heard and seen about, because we cannot let these individuals that have subjected the world like this to what they want, because this is what they do. And the manipulations that come from these devices can hurt you in a lot of different ways. They can hurt you. I know that the technological abuse keeps people isolated, keeps people alone, and it does happen. It does play on your mind, your body, your soul like that. And you can't really help it, because you are up under attack. You are up under being sedated by these technologies and by the individuals that are persecuting your brain. I mean, basically, you have a system, a computer system on your brain all the time. I like to quote Richard Lighthouse from Targeted Justice when he talks about these are the biggest cowards on the face of this planet because of what they do, the subjection that they put people through. This is what they do. And that's a big comment right there, or a big statement, because that's exactly what it is. They are the biggest cowards on the face of this earth, to allow individuals. No, yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
can I touch base on that? So
Yeah.
I want to remind people how this affects everybody else's rights as well. One, yes, this is weaponized research being conducted by 67 countries and 200 universities. So a lot of them are independent contractors hired within its own community with our own country. On top of it, the brain is the target, how we can manipulate the mind and control the human body. And the history tells us, anytime somebody implants you with any type of tracking device or any other devices to manipulate you, it's for causing harm. It's not for any good. It's for the benefit of whoever implanted you. And with these devices, one, they're mutilating your body. This is our body. This is our property. This is our intellectual property. We have the right to think for ourselves. We have the right to choose. We have the right to prosper with our own consciousness, our own mind, before somebody else steals it. and putting everybody under remote neuromonitoring is violating our intellectual property, violating our rights, and violating our personal property and our free will. On top of it, me and Lewis did a little research on how many neurotechnologies there is out there that's been weaponized against these victims, including us. There's 779 U.S. patents of neurotechnologies that's been weaponized against us. There is 3 different ways they can link you up to brain-computer interface. One has to be indwelling. The other ones are indwelling, external devices, wearables, helmets, Bluetooth devices. And the other one is your cell phones. These are all Bluetooth Wi-Fi access devices. And I don't know if you know anything about Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. They have to be within a certain radius of you for them to link up to your Bluetooth devices.
That would be around 100 feet, I think.
20 kilometers, which is up to 1,000 feet. I've been watching my perpetrators stalk me and run up because I still get physically stalked, and they're normally within a block radius of me at all times. So, I mean, this doesn't only affect the targeted individuals, and with this advocacy for Neuro Rights, getting it out there on how it's going to affect everybody else and our future generation from here on out is the biggest thing. I mean, we're already the target on the weapon, how they can draw people in to weaponize them against the target and eliminate the target, attack the target. But the fact of the matter is, this, if we don't get laws passed against this, our future generation is going to suffer the repeated consequence. What we do today is going to matter for our future generation. And the brain is the target. The man that controls the mind controls the world. And it's not for any of our benefits. It's only for those that run the program and own the technology.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And let me add, with those 779 different patents of neurotechnologies, that was between 4 years, 2016 to 2020. That's a lot of innovation for 4 years. So you see that the impact of neurotechnologies and the data leakage, your data being leaked like this, is anybody can pick this up, anybody can find your data and then potentially stalk you. That's, you know, but data today is so large and it's so enormous that it's been happening for so long that it's what they call neuro marketing. So your neuro marketing is where your data is collected by consumer products, that is neurotechnologies. These could be anything, and it collects all your data. This is what the Neuro Rights Foundation is trying to do with the laws that they're trying to progress for, is from the data leakage and the data collection without your consent, which is a HIPAA violation. So with that, it's basically trying to entail the methods by protecting data, because if your information is being collected without consent, can lead to you being stalked, and that's a big thing. That leads perpetrators anywhere to be able to follow you or going through your door, especially if you're linked up like how TIs are linked up. Their data is being leaked all the time. Their information is being leaked. Their neurology is being leaked, and their bioinformation is being leaked. So I mean, that's the concept of all these things. And you know, if it's like, you know, if you do go into a hospital, which I think majority of people, that's where they get their devices from, unconsensually, is that if you sign a form in a hospital, it could say something that you don't know, but you sign it, you know, it's there, and then they give you an injection that could have anything inside of it. And then all of a sudden you're linked up to the system, or GPS trackers or telemetry units or two-way communication devices that can do all these things, such as B2K and all these other aspects. You know, and then the data leakage would just follow through, and just information is everywhere. Your bioinformation, your neural information, everything. And that's the crazy aspect about what's going on, is that, you know, the FBI is just not doing anything for it. It's not even on their website about the data leakage. Your mind is basically on the internet or on the deep web, and people are collecting it. They're doing whatever they want to do. You know, basically, I want to reverting, you know, commenting on the cyber torture, mandate that Niels Melzer tried to put out back in 2020, that 99% of the world denied because he was trying to ban neurotechnologies that were sophisticated to artificial intelligence, cyber technologies, medical implantations, and torture, all these devices. So then 99% of the world denied it. So, and that was, if it had worked, then there would have been a complete ban globally if people would have accepted it at that time. So that was actually one of the first pieces, besides a couple other reports that have came out over history since 2000 until now, is that the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture, Niels Melzer, put out a mandate stating that remote neurotechnologies are torturing people and that we should ban them. So, but like I said, 99% of the world denied it, including the United States. So there's that. So data leakage, big data, neuromarketing, biomarketing, all these aspects and the impacts and the innovations of neurotechnologies of what we got today. This is one of the biggest free labor markets that you can buy into if you want to get neural data and then add it into your business and then create all these different innovations that are worth trillions of dollars. This is a big $1 trillion industry. And being able to collect your data like this, which has been occurring since the 90s, it's actually before then, but the 90s, yeah, because the medical aspect is that people have been, medically monitored by doctors with small medical devices and whatnot. So it's almost the same model, the same concept, because, from what I've seen on the scan reports that people have gotten, is that the devices that are in their body emit at least 450 megahertz. That's almost the same as a medical radio band that you're getting, 453 megahertz for the medical patient that has neurostimulators, neuro devices, biotechnology inside their body, all emitting the same frequencies. So that's one thing that needs to come out, is that, and for people to understand, is that medical radio, including the radio that's being put on you without consent, where you're being tortured for information, is that those are two things right there that need to be recognized.
And can I emphasize on that? And what Lewis is kind of talking about is the neurohuman trafficking and the medical human trafficking. A lot of it, and our data, the data over the internet being trafficked. So those are laws that we're also trying to work on getting stipulations on passed on the trafficking aspect of it. Not to mention that once your data is uploaded to a link, they pretty much can sell it to any independent contractor or any other corporations without us even knowing it, and having full laws and disclosures for that, and then being able to get proper medical treatment for all these devices that's been implanted in our bodies that would be long-term causes to health problems in the future. Because even if they stop attacking us, or the implants are left in our bodies, you're going to have biofilms, you're going to have other complications that are coming out. But being able to address these issues and having the fact that the government's already recognizing it, preventing the neuro and the medical human trafficking aspect of it.
And what I'd like to add is, for the TIs that have heard all of this great information, how do you fit in? What can you do?
No speakerphone.
What we'd
no
like
speakerphone.
to do is to follow us, Facebook, Instagram.
Sandrina, no speakerphones allowed. Continue without your speakerphone. Someone's got it on.
Yeah, I'm sure my friends are on here with me. They follow me everywhere. But for the TIs wanting to know what they can do and how do they educate themselves, that we ask that you follow us on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Sign up for the newsletter at advocacyforneurorights.org. We also ask that you sign the petition on change.org, opt out medical. What we're looking to do is to protect your thoughts. Let's stop these illegal implants. So join us in the fight.
Okay, that's very good information. I would like to have all of this information sent to me via email so that we can put it in Sunday's newsletter. Oh, there we go with that. No speakerphones. Maria. Okay, Maria, I think. Okay, Maria, I believe you are using a speakerphone. We cannot, the system will not take a speakerphone. Not a big deal. All right, moving on. I'd like to hear from Sandrina. I'd like to hear more from David. And it looks like Sandy Williams is trying to connect. And once again, I would like you to explain to the listening audience how they can get in touch or actually join your group. I know you've already said it. We have many listeners that have joined us. Sandy, would you like to do that?
Hi, everyone. Hi. Yes, I was having a war with every appliance I have in the house. For some reason, I was having a war against trying to get and make it on this wonderful show. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Sandy Williams, and I am glad to be here. Yes. So I know I missed all of the great information, but I'm here. I am here. Thank you.
Well, we're quite happy to have you finally join. I'm sure everybody knows what it's like to have problems with computers and phones, devices, etc. But what I would like you guys to do is to have, let's say, Sandy, you're right there. I think I even mentioned it. Would you like to explain how to join your group?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. Had a brain fart right there.
That's okay.
We do have a website. We have a website, and I do have a brain fart going on, coming from the station to come flying to come to the show to be on here. We do have a website, and Louis, what's our website is Advocacy for Neuro Rights.org. We do have a petition also as well that we would like you to sign. It's on change.org, and we're going to put everything in. I guess we can put everything in the chat. Advocacy for neurorights.org. Also too, we have the change. We're on change.org. If you can sign a petition, because we are, of course, I don't know if you already said this, you probably did, they said it, but we are fighting for the protection for our mind, for our minds, protection of our brain. It just sounds science fiction. It sounds like the movies we watched when we were young, which I loved, and now it's a shame that we have to put it into law, that there's people that they're out there that wants to rape our mind, who wants to steal our mind, our memories, our thoughts. And so it's a shame right now that we have to protect that. We have to war against our own country. That's, I call it mind rape. So that's what we're all about. We're all about protecting our mind, protecting our dreams, protecting our thoughts. It's our rights. And so that's what our application, no problem. Oh, okay. That's what we are advocating for. So that's it right now, Mr. Allen.
Thank you very much. Frank is fine. Yeah. You're among like minds here. I've been targeted for 13 years plus now.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Sorry. I want to say one little thing too. I want to say like hearts as well. Because
that's right.
You can have the same mindset, which we all talk about, same mindsets, but sometimes it goes deeper. You have to have the same heart, because some people can go along with you and just say that oh, I believe you, I understand, but as soon as something goes adverse, there's adversity, they change. So even like hearts, there's certain things that we will not do because it goes against our moral values. That's where that heart comes in. I mean, if someone offered you $1,500 to go and shoot a radiation across the street at this lady or her kids or her dog or her husband, you're like, what? You know? So like hearts too. Like minds and like hearts. That's
Very
all.
good. Sandy, you have a little noise in the background.
Yes, hold on. Let me take that.
Thank you so much. The system picks up everything. Okay, we have 5 members of the Advocacy for Neuro Rights.org with us tonight. Lewis, I'm going to turn this over to you, and what I would like you to do is have your people speak. You guys have been working for a year. I would like you to ask the questions, and if you need some help, I'll be right here, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Go ahead, Lewis.
Okay. So you want us to open up the floor for questions for people, or how do you want to do this? Proceed.
Well, I want you to operate as an open forum yourselves and discuss your group so that the people in our listening audience can hear that.
Okay.
And
yeah.
You can all unmute.
Sorry.
You can all unmute if you like. Okay. And if there's any problems,
yeah.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's actually really good because we can talk about who we are and what we do. I do a majority of the content. I do a lot of the content, copywriting and the content writing, also along with the videos. And sometimes me and Marie will be able to do a commentary video for some of the content that we do put out, which is extraordinary because it's good to have commentary when you're explaining certain things from a perspective that's medically sound, and just trying to apply the information that is medical, that would relate to being followed, tracked, or long duration. It's what I call long duration processing when they're innovating off of you, basically, such as the 779 different patents. And all those technologies had to come from somewhere, but and the neural information that they're pulling. So they're in my perspective, for the duration of being subjected, unless things ultimately change, there has to be some sort of pattern where if you were subjected in early 2000s, which a lot of people were, there must be some sort of long duration. There has to be a time limit because the technologies just keep innovating. If we look at the timelines where we're at today, we're at a point where things can ultimately change, but ultimately get harder. It can get harder too. Advocacy and trying to push through the agenda that can turn into all these things. So while they're innovating and creating all these different software platforms and being initialized into this biotech field without consent, and then being manipulated by frequencies and neural frequencies or satellites. Satellites are one of the biggest things, the biggest aspects to what's happening, because satellite communications is everything. They have artificial intelligence satellites up there that operate by themselves. So that's, the satellites, I always try to emphasize on the satellites because that's where the majority of it does come from. It gives the people that are doing this the links, it gives them the web, it gives them the internet, it gives them the power structure, it gives them the feed, it gives them anything that they want. It doesn't matter where you're from, what part of the world you're from. If you have satellites in space, you can spy on anyone on the ground. There's no laws against it. So it doesn't matter. You're basically your privacy is invaded regardless, because people do have satellites in space. And I would call for a large audit on every satellite in space. But how are you going to do that? how are you going to do that? You have many different countries have satellites up in space. You can't. But I would like to call for that because they are dangerous. But as far as our advocacy, I do the copywriting, content writing. I'm also the executive director. So I try to initiate things, or at least have conversations with the people, or present topics that would relate to the neural rights, because satellites are also effective against your neural rights, which you're subjected to. So in Maurice, the president, she's a very, very strong figure in the community, and I can't see anybody else, just because she has the momentum and she can speak. She has a following of individuals, and she knows a lot about technology. She follows James Giordani, and that's good. And then you have Sandy. Sandy's a wonderful lady. She has a lot of expertise and knowledge. Actually, both Sandras, because both of them have the same name, but one's Sandy and the other one's Sandrina. So they're both wonderful ladies. I'm so glad to see them, because they represent things in such a way that is so, it's really phenomenal what occurs, and to even have this operation together as a group is so informative. And we have a lot of information. We have a lot of different ways. And with Neuro Rights, it's almost like, which area do you want to go to? There's like 3 or 4, 10 different areas you can go hit. But, for me, it's always been the devices, which a lot of people have different perspectives on that. But if you look at the petition, it's mainly about being able to opt out of any research program. It doesn't matter what it is. You have the right to opt out anyway. So like the Health and Human Services, they have classified research programs that they're not allowed to talk about. They can't put that information out. And it's the federal government on top of that. With that, it's basically trying to petition the government to say, hey, nobody wants to be subjected. Nobody wants devices in their body. You have no right to subject anybody without consent, whatever that means. Whatever that means to them, which is obviously not very much. But as for the people, the population, we do not consent to neural torture frequencies or being subjected to biotechnologies or implantations or neurotechnologies. So,
very good. I have a question for you, Louis. Do you believe that the term intellectual property should be redefined?
As far as intellectual property, I would say, as being redefined, I think by the collective aspect of it all, I believe that your own intellectual property it's yours to begin with. It's part of who you are. It's not something that you own. It's what you are. It's who you are.
Well, the current
yeah.
definition of intellectual property would be considered physical things, tangible things. The intellectual property that we are concerned about at this point in time lies within your brain. And this is the change that I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, it's a big
Can I
change.
touch bases on that?
For sure.
I would say yes, intellectual property is our own intellectual property. Where this technology interferes with it takes away your right to choose. And that's where a lot, going on the human rights aspect, everybody has a right to choose, whether it's good or bad. Being able to share your own information or your own possession or your own body with another human being is a choice, not something that should be stolen. And with these neurotechnologies and these devices and these neural weapons and these biological weapons, they're taking our right to choose and just stealing it. So we don't have a choice to share it with the next person or anyone else. And whether, these neural inflictions and these neurotechnologies violate our very essence of who we are. Not to mention, if we had a great invention or a great ideal or a great scheme where we could profit or monopolize or grow in status, our government or whoever owns these devices have it before we do, which makes us an easy target as well, because these people that are inflicting the harm on these individuals and victims, they have our thoughts and our ideals before we get a right to put it in motion to defend ourselves, which leaves us defenseless from it. So, and it's the same thing in the corporate world. The corporate world. There's starting to hit my speech. The corporate world, when you go up and you want to present a business proposal or a invention that you made, your government's going to put it in action, have it built, and have it on display before you even get an idea, get it out there. So now that corporation is making money off of something you could have had the opportunity to prosper on it. So you're stealing, not only are you stealing it from the victims, but you're stealing it from everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, I can't recall the person's name, but they basically stated, go get your own. Go get your own information. Go get your own data from somewhere else. Don't take it from us. Go get your own. You can't even, you should be able to figure out on your own what to do. Go get your own data. Basically, that's what he stated.
Very good.
Besides stealing it from people.
Lewis, or collectively, all of you, I was curious, are there any ways that the community can help you to further your efforts? Probably sign the petition is going to be one of them, but how can we
Yes,
continue?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can join us through our website, Advocacy for NeuroRights.org. Sign up for the newsletter. That way you're informed as to what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how you can get involved. You can also sign the petition at change.org, opt out medical, so that way you have a voice and a play in the game. You can also follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, X, as well as Instagram. These are the best ways to join us for this fight.
Okay, thank you
You
very
can
much.
also volunteer, request to volunteer as well towards the Advocacy for Neuro Rights. And Lewis also has a donation page set up for those that might want to donate, that we could help get this information and market it to the general population and help accumulate experts and other people that's willing to help out on getting some laws and fighting for civil rights and fighting for all of humanity and getting other resources as well. And his donation page is on his website. And you could also message on the Advocacy for Neuro Rights to volunteer. And like I said, submit a small resume.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, we have had just a little over an hour, and you have produced so much information. Now, I want to make certain that this gets to us. Now, the only people that see this inside chat are us. No one else sees this. This isn't like free conference call. So, anybody, probably Lewis, maybe, would mail me all of your information so I can put together a piece for the Sunday newsletter. So you'd have to get it to me tonight or early tomorrow morning, and I will add it into the newsletter. But it's been a great pleasure having you guys here. Open the door. You can call me up and say would like to do a roundtable discussion tonight. And
keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
That's right.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that, and all you have to do is call me up. If there's something that has to happen on a special night, we'll try and work around it. Okay? And I'd like to thank you personally, Lewis, and I'd like to thank David, Maria, and both Sandys. I would like to thank my supporters. I would like to thank our listeners. I would like to say good night from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen.